Hello everyone, I'm Pacific and welcome back to another video of the Friday show. This time I'm going to be talking about whether or not I think the Xbox Scorpio will be worth getting on launch. Now, I am part of the group of people that thinks that the Scorpio will not be a kind of consumer console. It will be more of a premium console, so it's going to be a higher price, but it's going to offer stuff that, you know, is kind of futuristic, a little unconventional. Like, for instance, it will have hololens support later on. HoloLens is a super expensive piece of technology, and the Xbox Scorpio, you know, it makes sense that it would be expensive as well. And I really don't think off of launch buying any kind of console whatsoever is smart, because consoles usually always have bugs off of the start of launch. Basically, I used to have a old Xbox 360 that we got off launch, and we had to repair it 3 times. Alright, and we owned it for 6 years. Now the other 360 I have, which I owned for 6 years after the original Xbox, I have not had to send in a single time. So I really think, you know, the golden time is at least a year after the console's launch. I bought my Xbox One a year after launch, and it has worked perfectly for me. And this actually leads into another point, that the Xbox One, just over the last year or 2 years, really became the main Xbox console. You know, the Xbox One launched in 2013, and I got it in 2014. I think I might have said 2012, but the Xbox One launched in 2013, and it's only been 4 years since the last console. The Xbox 360 was the main Xbox console for 8 years. So I think that, you know, the Xbox Scorpio is not really a primary console in the console lineups, but it's more of like a kind of a second set of maybe more expensive Xboxes that, for the time they're released, are considered very, very powerful, as opposed to the next step up in power. But I do want to see where the Scorpio goes, if it can do backwards compatible like the Xbox One should have done. And I'm not talking about limited backwards compatible, I'm talking about full backwards compatibility. And I want to see if exclusive games come out specifically for the Xbox Scorpio, and maybe they're not going to run on the Xbox One, or if games are made for the Xbox One and then also made with an additional copy for the Xbox Scorpio. I'm excited for the Scorpio, because the Scorpio is the next step in technology, you know? If it can make the HoloLens work, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, augmented reality like that, if that's gonna come out next year, I mean, that's a great step to gaming. It's progress, even if no one can buy it. You know, there's a lot of weird things that happen where people are like, oh, VR is not taking off because no one can buy it. No, VR is still taking off, and they're still developing the technology. I mean, if you really want to go back to when VR was invented, VR was first tested in the 1960s, and it worked. Didn't work very well, but it still worked. There are actually videos you can find of people in the 1980s using a treadmill with little bike handles and a VR headset and looking at buildings. So VR has been in development for a long time, and no one bought it back then because it literally took up an entire freaking room, the computer. Alright, now obviously with the HTC Vive, it takes up a little bit of a room, but that's the game space, that's not the computer. So, you know, when technology is invented, yeah, no one can buy it, but it's still invented and the idea is still there. I mean, honestly, if you took someone as rich as like Donald Trump or Bill Gates, I mean, Bill Gates is the leader of Microsoft. I think he can fund the development from start to finish of augmented reality, like the HoloLens, up until it's, you know, like $200 to buy a HoloLens. And generally, I always like it when a new powerful console comes out, because it gives developers more freedom to make amazing games. I mean, just look at Skyrim, for example. Skyrim, as much as I kind of dislike the game, it's still pretty cool, and it was very detailed and very big. it could not be that big and that cool on original Xbox. You know, they pulled it off on the Xbox 360. That was like the limit of the 360 basically. But on a normal Xbox, not really too feasible. I mean, they put Morrowind on the Xbox, right? And Morrowind is a very, very different game technologically than Skyrim, so just put that in perspective. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on the Scorpio. Are you going to buy one? Are you going to not buy one? You know, what's up? What's up with your Scorpio opinions? I'd really like to hear them, you know, because it's always good to discuss stuff, because you never know what's going to come out of discussions. You know, just creativity in general, innovations, inventions, science. Great things can come out of discussion, so leave that in the comments below. And really one final thought, I think if the HoloLens works, it can fill in the gap that the Kinect was supposed to fill in, right? Because really, using your body as a controller and putting video games, instead of on a computer screen, putting them into real life has been an Xbox feature since the Kinect came out. So to me, it makes sense that they would put the HoloLens as a peripheral for the Xbox Scorpio, because that's part of the 3D kind of in real life gaming experience. So that's all. I'm not going to dwell on the topic anymore. I got nothing more to add. Thank you guys for watching the Friday show. If you enjoyed, you can also tell me that in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, because the Friday show is every Friday, and it's about gaming news. Just different topics, whether it be a gaming community, a game DLC, a game console, a video game itself, all that good stuff. I'm Pacific. See you guys in the next episode of whatever I decide to make.